Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Professor Sistrunk, and I'm reaching out to the students. I'm bringing you another lab. This lab is 3.3.11 using Windows PowerShell. PowerShell is a powerful tool that we use in the industry, and the most prolific and elite individuals use PowerShell because it is a dynamic program. PowerShell is equal to like working in Linux. It's command orientated, so it's a great tool to use. We're going to shoot through this lab because it's really simple. It's not hard. It's just introducing you to PowerShell. I'm going to put my little face up here. Excuse me if this has you a little bit confused, but I'm working with trying to move this face around so I can show the maximum screen. So in this particular lab, it's talking about accessing the PowerShell console, Explorer, command prompt, and PowerShell commands, putting them side by side, using them together. It's also talking about explore CMD lets and explore the net start command using PowerShell. Then we're going to use the PowerShell to empty the recycle event, making it seem real simple and easy. But just know that PowerShell commands are dynamic, and the purpose of PowerShell is for individuals who want to automate processes. And when we say automate processes, we mean that, like right here, you can write a particular script, right here to make sure you have various things happen on your network. So let's take an example. Let's say I got 20 computers. I need to configure and get those computers up and running, write a script in PowerShell that will set those computers up and have them working and functioning when the staff show up the next morning. So that's what makes PowerShell dynamic. Make sure you read this script so you can have a good definition of what PowerShell does. And it's in the first sentence. PowerShell is a powerful automation tool. It is both command console and script language. So we can, it's like writing a little bitty program that will go out and take care of the work you need done. Now we already here. Let's go ahead and start this lab. And as you can see, I got the lab up and running. I'm going to hit enter a couple of times just to make sure I got the keys. And don't worry if you can't see it too clearly. Just expand your screen when it comes to this part. And I may even expand mine too, so we may go there. Matter of fact, I'm actually going to take this and drop it down on my secondary screen, and I'm just going to follow the commands from there. And you just take a look at what I'm doing. I'm going to go ahead and expand this so we can have a full screen with PowerShell. I'm going to make sure we got it fitting. And I'm going to move me over here. So that's going to make it good for us. And just follow along in the steps that I'm doing, but just know we okay with doing it this way on this particular lab. So, and I might bring the lab up and down so you can see the steps that I am actually doing. Now, you can see that if you want to get to PowerShell, all you have to do is come here and type in PowerShell. There are multiple PowerShell applications in here. You see we got multiple PowerShell applications. Depending on where you are at when you're learning PowerShell, you just want to make sure that you use that. Some advanced learners will be using ISE 86, but for you, we just going to use this PowerShell here. You click on it, and this what will happen. It will open up like this. Now, that's what you see here. And you're going to see me jump back and forth with this. That's what you see here. Now we're going to move to the next command, which is just explore command prompt and PowerShell commands. So we're going to put them both side by side. It says enter dir at the command prompt in both PowerShell and command prompt. So I'm going to go ahead and also open up command prompt so we can have that. So I'm going to shrink this just a little, and I'm going to shrink it up, size it up rather for the screen. Now I know this is weird, but hey, we're doing our best to show you guys how to do this. CMD, we're going to open up command prompt, and let's see if we can size it up. Yes, it lets us size it up. It's a little bit small, I know, but we can work with it. We're good. We're experts. So I'm going to go ahead and type in DIR, hit enter, and then I'm going to come over here to PowerShell and do the same thing, DIR, and you see that it both represents the same information, just a little more over here, but it pretty much gives you the same information. You see these little dots right here? These are hidden directories, but PowerShell don't give you those particular dots. But what PowerShell does, it tells you what's the mode, who have the privileges. And here, this represents privileges, and we're going to explain this a little more when we go into Linux. I don't want to get off sidetracked on that right now. But you see, it's basically the same thing. You basically getting the same information. Now, you can do a deeper dive in PowerShell, but you can also do a deeper dive in command prompt too. So that's really neither here nor there. So we just completed that, and it says here, enter DIR at the command prompt in PowerShell now. And then it says, what are the outputs to the DIR command? So basically, you're going to answer that question. You're going to explain what the outputs are. But pretty much it's the same. But I already told you a secret right here, hidden directories. It says, try another command that you... So I'm going to go ahead and do a command like CD, you know. So I'm going to say CD and look at what happens. Nothing really, I mean, but let's try it over here, CD. Let's make sure we got the right command. And same thing, pretty much nothing's happening. It says try another command that you have used in the command prompt, such as ping or CD. Now, I could go ahead and put in here and go ping. Let's see, right? I'm going to do ping, and then I'm going to do 192.168.1.1, you know, and then hit enter. Of course, nothing is going to come out of it. It's going to fail, but you see that I'm pinging something. So it's just want you to play around with these different type of commands and have fun with seeing what would happen in PowerShell vis-a-vis what would happen in the command prompt. So in here, I typed in ipconfig. So I'm going to come here and type in ipconfig to ipconfig here. And then you see this. So now I can take this IP address and go ping. So I'm going to ping that IP address 192.168.0.12. And don't think that's my IP address, because it's not. So as you can see, it's going through the timing here. And you can do the same thing here. And if that was my IP address, I wouldn't tell you to try it, because guess what? I don't use this network as a home network, so you'll be out of there. But anyway, 192.168. What was that IP address? It was 0, and then we got a 12. Okay. So there we go again. And you see it's going through the same thing. So you see that both of them does the same thing. But this gives you a little more now. This definitely gives you a little more. Like, for instance, it says here, I'm going to bring this up so you can see it. It says here, explore CMD lets. PowerShell commands, CMD lets, are constructed in the form of verb noun strings to identify the PowerShell command to let the subdirectories and files in a directory enter get alias directory at the PowerShell prompt. So this prompt here is saying type this in to see what would happen. So let's bring that on down and let's go ahead and type that in, you know. So I'm going to clear the screen real quick so you can see it a little bit better. And I'm going to see if I can drop that in here, or do I have to type it in? Knowing PowerShell, it's going to make me type it in. Okay, so let's go ahead and type that in, that particular command in. It says here, we want to go get dash alias dir. Okay, and you see what happens here. Get alias is not responding. So let's try it again because I think I made a mistake there. So I'm gonna say get. Okay, now that's it. But now watch this. Let's go to the command prompt and see what we got. I'm gonna clear that out too, and I'm gonna go get. As you see, it's lighting up, so that tells you something is finna happen here. alias dir, and you see right there. So in the command prompt, you see that it was a problem. What is the PowerShell command for dir? So you see that it was a problem in the command prompt, but in the regular PowerShell, you pulled some information here. Okay, so we want to spread that out, just look and see what it got. alias dir get, and it's asking me what is that command. So you'll write that command down there. Okay, so you're learning now that in PowerShell, you can use specialized commands to actually do the work that you want to do. And this is what makes PowerShell more powerful, because these commands can be put together in scripts, and these scripts can be sent out to do particular work. It says, for more detailed information about CMD, let's perform an internet search for Microsoft PowerShell. So you can go, Microsoft actually has it on, if you just do a Microsoft search, you can see all of these particular commands out there. You know, you can see them all out there. So it's an easy way to get to them. So we're going to close the command prompt because we don't need that anymore. We're going to a more advanced step by using the PowerShell prompt. And then we're going to type in PowerShell. Now we're going to go in here and type in net start. So I'm going to say net, S-T-A-T, right there, space H, and hit enter. Now this gives me all the different types of commands that I can use with net start. And that's what it wants you to do. It wants you to begin to learn how to use PowerShell. So as you can see, explore the net start command using PowerShell. At the PowerShell prompt, enter net start -H, blah, blah, blah. You got that, you type it in. This is what it shows you. Now mine didn't go that deep because I haven't did this, but let's go ahead and put the R in so we can check out the network. And once again, excuse me for jumping from screen to screen, but you know, sometimes you got to work like this. You can't do side by side. So now I'm going to say to display the routing table with the active routers. Now I want to look at the routing table with the actual routers. So I'm going to go ahead and go net start -R and hit enter. Oh, let's back that up. Hit enter. Now this shows me all the different routing activities out there. I'm looking at these IP addresses out there. Okay, don't worry. The moment I shut this down, you ain't gonna be able to do nothing with it. That's for the hackers out there. So, and it gives you all this information. Now, the next thing it wants you to do, it says here, in the net start command can also display the processes associated with the active TCP connection. Enter net start -ABNO. So let's go ahead and throw that in there, okay? So what's your takeaway in this? Well, of course, I don't expect you to be prolific in this here. It's just basically teaching you that we have tools that we can use to go out there and search the internet to find out, first search our network to find out if we got any problems. And now it's showing you all the different TCP connections here. You know, you see the IP address, not the IP addresses, you see the PIDs, you know, these are the numbers associated with it. It's a lot of information, and you may say, well, Professor, what am I going to do with all this? What am I learning here? Right now, we're just trying to show you how to go out and gather information using particular tools. How to go out and gather information using particular tools. We anticipate and we hope that you will go in and say, let me go do a search on NetStart, right? Let me go do a search on PowerShell, okay? Let me do a search on all these different commands. We are hoping that you will do that so you can enhance your knowledge. Not only is it in the chapter explaining this information, but you can go onto the internet, you can do searches and find out information, and you can also go to other YouTubers, like I said, and see what they say about it, so you can get a well-developed knowledge about this. Okay, so I'm running out a little bit of time. I just wanted to demonstrate this. We almost at the end anyway, but let me go ahead and finish up here. It says right-click on the taskbar and select Task Manager, navigate to the details, and see PDI. So I'm going to let you do that because this is just looking at the same codes and numbers that we talked about. But in this particular lab, I just wanted you to see tools that we use in PowerShell that would help us go a little bit farther than just using the CMD or the command prompt. PowerShell is a powerful tool, and like I said early on, you can actually take an entire class in PowerShell and get skilled up. And hopefully as you do your journey in this industry, PowerShell and Linux will be the key tools to use when you configuring systems and computers. My last thing I'm going to do is, of course, go to PowerShell and type this command in to empty out the recycle bin. So if I come here and let's see if we got anything in the recycle bin right now. There's nothing in there, so I'm going to create a little document here. I'm going to go, let me see if I can go here and go to a notepad right here and just create a little phony little document and save it on the desktop. Save as a phony little name, but I'm going to put it on the desktop. Here's the name. I'm just typing anything in there, so don't buy into it. Don't say, oh, the professor put that. What that mean? It means nothing. And then I'm going to take this document and drop it in the garbage can. Now you see that the garbage can is full. So the way PowerShell is so powerful, I'm going to say CLS again to clear it out. I can type that command in, that simple little command, and just empty the recycle bin. So let's take a look. We're going to say clear. Did I spell it right? Yes, I did. Recycle bin and hit enter. And I'm going to say yes to it. Hit enter. Now if I come here, you're going to see the recycle bin is empty again. You see? So what is the takeaway in this particular lab? It's a few commands in here you want to learn because you will be using those particular commands. That's one. Two, you want to get an understanding of PowerShell and you want to get a basic understanding of NetStart. And that's pretty much it. Of course, this is a deep subject, but we was just giving you a little synopsis on this particular tool. Remember, these are tools, and you just starting to get used to how these tools function and how they work. So please don't get caught up in the riffraff. Just understand you got particular tools. Accessing the PowerShell console, exploring command prompts and PowerShell commands, explore CMD lets, and then explore net start. And you learn how to use a command to empty the garbage can. That's what you want to take away from this. Do not let it shake you up. Do not let it rattle, because it's a much deeper application. It's a much deeper program, but we just want to give you the bare minimums. And that's why we use the word explore. So if you're with me, we'll do another lab. But this is Professor Sistra.